except for the bloodshot eyes, and a sore on its right forepaw, that's red too, and this dog, this poor monster, this beast, you know, it's misused, but I certainly think it's an old dog, almost always seems to have an erection of sorts. That's right too, by the way. And what else? Oh yeah. There's this gray yellowy color when he bends his fangs like this. And the very first day that I moved in. Now, I worried about that dog from the very second that I met him, right? I mean, animals don't take to me. I'm not like Sir Francis had those birds hanging off him. Animals are different to me, right? Like people. Sometimes. But this dog was not indifferent to me. The very second he met me, he went for me, right? And I mean, he's not rabid, but he's not half-assed either. I mean, he's stumbly as he's like trying to stumble and run, right? so this dog went for me. Look, you see this? You see this? See that right there? That's where the dog got me. The very second day I met him, that's where the dog got me. You know, I struggle to think how the other roomers do it, but you know what I think? I think it only has to do with me. Cozy. So, anyway, I'm up in my bedroom one day after I kicked free the dog and I bolted upstairs so fast. And I'm up in my bedroom and I think to myself, I'm going to have to kill this dog with kindness. And if that doesn't work, then it's going to have to kill it. Well, don't react, Peter. Just listen. All right? So the very next day, I go out and I buy a dozen hamburgers. And I throw away all the rolls on the way home. I've got the hamburgers, no ketchup, medium rare, no onions, and I get to the entrance hall, and I stop, and I go in. Carefully, you understand. And I go in. There he is, waiting for me, right? So I take the hamburgers out of the bag. I place them about 12 feet from where the dog is sitting. Right? I stop. I wait. I watch. Now the dog, right? The dog is there. He's smelling. He's sitting there. The dog's there. He's smelling. He's sitting. He's sniffing. And he's smelling. And then he moves slowly. And faster and faster towards the meat, right? And when he gets there, he stops, he looks at me, looking at me, and I'm looking at him. And he stops, he sniffs some more. And then... He tore into it like he hasn't eaten anything in his life except for garbage, which very well may be the truth, because I don't think he eats anything but garbage. But he tore into it, right? He tore into it like he hadn't eaten anything before in his life, and then he ate everything. He ate all the hamburgers and all the paper, and when he was done, he stopped. He sat there, he looked at me. He's looking at me. He snarls. And he smiles. At least I think he did. I think cats do, you know. So he smiled at me. That is the most gratifying few minutes of my life. And bang! He went for me. Can you believe that? But I kicked free and I got upstairs fast as usual. So I'm up in my room and I think to myself, and you know what? I'm offended and very, very angry. I mean, if you think about it, those were 12 perfectly good hamburgers. I had enough pork in them to call disgusting. But this dog had built up this antipathy towards me, and I intended to overcome that antipathy, right? So I think to myself, I'm going to try for a few more days. If it doesn't work, then, well, just have to kill the dog, right? But, let me hold on, Peter. I didn't succeed. The day that I decided to kill the dog, I go to the store and I buy one hamburger and what I thought was a murderous bottle of rat poison, right? So I get in the hamburger stand and I ask the guy, I say, can I have one hamburger, please, but no rolls? And I expect some kind of reaction, like, hey, we don't do no hamburgers without rolls. What's the matter with you? You're going to read it out of your hands? But no. He stops, he smiles benignly, he wraps the hamburger with some wax paper, he says, a bite for your pussycat? And I want to say to him, no. It's actually part of this murderous plot to kill this dog. But you can say dog, I know, without sounding funny, right? So I smile, and I say, yes, it's a bite for my pussycat. But I said a little too formally and a little too loudly, so it's more like, yes, a bite for my pussycat. And People look up when I try to simplify things. I get scared. But I guess that's neither here nor thither, right? So on my way home, I jug away the roll. You know, I didn't buy one. I jug away, and I'm needing to meet up between my hands with the rat poison. And at this point, I'm feeling as much sadness as disgust, right? So I'm needing it between my hands. I get to the entrance hall, and bang, there he's waiting for me again. All right? I need the tickets. So I place the poison penny down, and this poor monster, he never realized that the time it took for him to smile, it made enough time to get out of range, right? But I placed the poison penny down, like so. I made for the stairs, right? And the beast gobbled down my offering. And he smiled, which made me almost sick. Then he went with me and I went upstairs. And so it came to pass that the beast was deathly ill. I know, because he no longer attended on me, right? And the landlady, she sobered up. Right? I remember she caught me on the day of the attempted murder, and she came up to me and her eyes were wide. They were wide like the dog's eyes for the first time. She looked at me. You know, she said that God had struck her puppy a surely fatal blow. And she implored me to pray for a wounded animal, and I wanted to say, look, madam, I've got myself to pray for. I've got myself, and the colored queen, and the Puerto Rican family, and that woman I don't know, and the woman that cries with determination. Besides, madam, I don't know how to pray. I merely smiled at her and I said, yes, I will pray for your dog. She looked up. She called me a liar. Peter, there was so much truth in what I said next. I said I didn't want the dog to die. And not just because I poisoned it, but I wanted to see what our newfound relationship might come to. Because you got to understand, Pete, you need to know that we need to know, and it's important, you need to understand that we need to know the effects of our actions, Peter. We need to know the effects of our actions. But, of course, the dog recovered his health. I don't know how, unless he was a descendant of that puppy that guarded the gates of hell or some such resort. I'm not of my mythology. Are you? But besides, you're missing the $8,000 question here, Peter. You're missing the $8,000 question. The dog recovered his health. The landlady recovered her thirst. And no way over by the bow of deliverance. I remember I'm on the way back from this movie that I seen on 42nd Street. A movie like one that I've seen before, or one like many others that I've seen before. And she told me that the dog was better. And I was excited. No, nervous. No, I was anxious. I was heart-shatteringly anxious to see my puppy friend again. Yes, Peter, friend, there's no other word for it. I was heart-shatteringly, etc., to see my doggy friend again. Right? So I get into the entrance hall, and I come in, and I stride in, unafraid. Right? Head held high. And there he is. Just looking at me. No, you look better for a scrape, but never mind. We looked at each other for a very long time. Stones. Just looking at one another. I looked at his face longer than I looked at mine. I mean, I could look into the dog's face longer than the dog could look into mine or anybody else's for that matter, but for that 2 minutes or 2 hours or however long it was, we made a connection. You know what I wanted to happen next? I wanted the dog to love me. I have tried to hurt and I have tried to kill, and both have been unsuccessful by themselves. I mean, think about it. I just wanted the dog to understand. I just hoped that he'd understand. I don't know how, much less my motivations, but I just wanted him to understand. Because you see how hard it is? You see how hard it is? I mean, if you can't deal with people, you have to make a start somewhere, right? With animals. You have to make a start somewhere. You have to make a start with something, right? I mean, if not with people, a cockroach, you bet. A mirror. No, not a mirror. That's too hard. That's one of the last steps. Not a mirror. A cockroach, right? A carpet. Toilet paper. No, not toilet paper. That's a mirror too. That's a mirror too. Do you see how hard it is to find things? Do you see how hard it is? Do you see how hard it is with too many street lights and the colors reflecting in the wisp of smoke and the oily wet colors and the wisp of smoke, a wisp of smoke and the portrait playing cards and the strong box without a lock and the typewriter that prints nothing but capital letters and making money with your body, which is an act of love. And I can prove it. I can prove it with howling. I can prove it with being alive, with love, with vomiting, with crying, with fury, because God is a color queen who plucks his eyebrows and wears a kimono. God is a woman that cries with determination. God, who I'm told gave up on the whole thing a long time ago. Woo! He gave up on the whole thing. People, what is an idea? What's a concept? We're better to show that concept in this excruciating jail that we call an entrance hall. I just wanted it to be an understanding. The beginning to understanding. It would be a start with just that a dog. With just that a dog. A dog. If you think about it, it was a perfectly sensible idea. Right? I mean, a man is a dog's best friend after all, right? So I'm there and I'm looking at the dog. And I'm looking at the dog and we're staring at each other. We're staring at each other. Of course, I'm staring at the dog's face while I'm staring at mine, but when I saw it there then, it'll never change. So now, after our connection, whenever we walk by in the entrance hall, we stop, and we look at each other where we are, and we regard each other with a mixture of sadness, suspicion, and then we feign indifference, and we go our separate ways, right? I mean, if you think about it, we had an understanding, right? Because we connected. If you think about it, I mean, it's sad. It's very, very sad, but we had an understanding, right? I mean, if you think about it, the dog went back to his garbage, and I went back to my free but solitary passage. No, I did not go back. I gained a solitary but free passage, right? If you can call such loss a gain. Kindness, nor cruelty, individuals themselves create nothing but beyond themselves. For the two combined together at the same time, they create the teaching emotions, right? And what we gain is loss. Just think about it, right? So the dog and I reached a compromise, more of a bargain, really. Reached a bargain. We do not try and love. We do not try and hurt. We do not even try and reach for each other. And if you think about it, was trying to beat a dog not an act of love? Think about it, was the dog trying to bite me not also an act of love? And if we can misunderstand such a word, why do we even have a word for love in the first